After Chris Krungle passes away, his adult children must take on the mantle.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with Andre,
Michelle,
Emily,
And Luis.
We are a family-friendly podcast where each and every week we watch and review a different Disney movie. Be sure to subscribe on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Enjoy the show. Ho, 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 and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 129.
So what the ho?
I got to bleep that.
It threw me off because I usually mouth what you say, like I just mouth it, but I don't say it, and then I went, what?
Serves you right. Always interrupting him, guys.
No, I don't interrupt him. I interrupt Lou.
I'm pretty sure you interrupt him too.
I mean, you're
Michelle,
You're a fair interrupter, okay?
You're a
Listen,
Maximus
Linda.
Interruptus.
This
what
is
she is?
my official
She's
apology.
an equal opportunity interrupter.
Yeah.
Take this as my official apology for all the times I've interrupted and blasted your eardrums.
I don't know if I accept the apology with an accent.
What? I mean, it's not real.
Yeah, but why are you apologizing to the listeners for interrupting when it's
I'm
the
not.
least
I'm
you're
apologizing
usually-
to you guys. I meant you guys.
Oh.
Sorry, listeners. That's not about you.
Well, you do blast their eardrums.
I probably do. They probably are in their cars, like, turn it down when I come on and then turn it way up when Luis talks.
That's what I do with the controls to the podcast. Anyway.
It's
Really?
very fun to watch Andre.
Why don't you
do the
just mute
controls.
me, like, when you edit the podcast?
Because you and I are on the same channel. That's the way our mixer works. So if you
I
go
need my own
down, then I
channel.
go down too. Yeah, you need your own channel. That's the solution.
You
You're
need
right.
your own channel.
This week we
you need
are.
to put me on your channel because I hardly talk. So.
Yeah, maybe I should just
But
swap
Emily's
something.
not
But every
loud.
time I put you on
I'm
my
not
channel,
loud.
that
Yeah,
means that you
are.
can't turn off your mic.
Sometimes. Not compared to me.
You know what? I
That's
think
the
I've
thing.
been better about
Yeah, you've been
not
pretty
turning it
good.
off because I don't pick it up to talk in the first place. I think I've improved.
This week we are talking about the 2019 live-action Christmas film, Noelle.
Yes.
Disney Plus.
It's probably almost been out for a year now, huh?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it came out when Disney Plus premiered in November of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Indeed.
it's
Took us a year to watch it, but we did.
Our very podcasty style, all of us agreed without actually agreeing that we weren't going to watch it because
Yeah.
eventually we were going to watch
do
it for the podcast.
yeah.
So there's no reason to.
Yeah, I don't just watch
double watch
Disney
it.
movies nilly-willy no more, you know? Unless
We had already had like our Christmas lineup, I think, set for last year. We were like, Psh, we ain't doing this. We already, it's gonna have to wait till next year.
That's
Well, and
right.
I wasn't sure how I felt about Disney Plus originals at that point. Like I didn't know if
Yeah.
they were going to be good or not. So I was like,
Yeah, and
That's
this
true.
one of the subject matter of the original stuff was, I was just like, I'll watch a Christmas movie later. you
Christmas movies are all the same to me, kind of. So some of them, sometimes I'm just not excited for them because I'm like,
Yeah.
I already know how this is gonna go. Like I have to be
Yeah.
in the mood, you know. But let's go ahead and get into our first impressions of Noelle. Andre.
know? Ooh, me first. Okay. Yeah. So this movie is my first time watching. It's all of our first time
Yeah.
watching it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that this movie was pretty cute. It was silly. It was pretty funny. I liked the writing of the dialogue. The plot was a little thin. Like it was pretty predictable throughout it, but overall, I enjoyed it. Good.
Very good. Luis.
It was good.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay.
wow. I was expecting him to just say, yeah, I agree with Andre because honestly, everything you said is exactly what
Yeah.
Luis and I said. It was cute. I got the feel goods. I feel like I would probably watch it again.
Sure.
And yes, it was predictable, but it also made me laugh in unpredictable spots, which made me happy.
Right.
Like, I mean, they did like ridiculous plays on Christmas, but then they also did some like really funny things that I wasn't expecting with the tech and the
Yeah.
Amazon
Oh,
Prime and
yes.
shit.
Oh,
Excuse me.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
A little more futuristic.
yeah, it was cute.
I agree with all of what you guys said. This movie actually kind of reminded me of Elf a little bit, in that it was like, oh, I'm leaving my village and going to the real world, and I don't have any reality.
All
what
I know
goes
is
on
Christmas.
there. So it like was kind of giving me Elf vibes, but in a much more like Disney, you know, way. It was very predictable. I mean, I knew how it was going to happen in the end, but with most Christmas movies, that tends to be the case. But it was good. It was fun.
I mean, Santa's
And-
gonna win the day.
Turns
so
out at the end of a movie, Santa's going to show
What?
up with some
Santa's
presents.
not going to win the day? I don't know.
I have a question before
was
we go
good.
any farther.
Yes.
Have you guys seen the Christmas Chronicles on Netflix?
We
No.
saw the first one. Yes, we did. That was the one
What?
with
Russell,
Russell. Oh, is it
not Russell.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hang on, let me show you.
Kurt Russell.
This is Kurt Russell. That's right.
Ego.
This is a Christmas movie that premiered on Netflix.
can-
High School Chronicles. There we go.
Maybe 3 years ago.
Yes, in 2018.
Well, show it to me because I don't remember it.
You remember this?
Remember,
He's like Santa,
in
and then
jail,
they're
and he
like-
sang, and
Yes.
he did like a.
Yes.
The kids
Okay.
are like figuring out that Santa is real.
Yes.
So the reason I bring up this movie is because this was one of the live action Christmas movies that I watched, like one of the first ones that I've watched as an adult
Mhm.
out of my like kid mind
Right.
where it was like everything was good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, 'cause next week, sorry, bombing on you. Like, but when we watch Muppet Christmas Carol, I'm going to be like, it's so good because I loved it as a kid.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
still love it.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, like,
nostalgia.
Yeah.
like try to convince me it sucks.
Mhm.
Like, you're not going to.
Good look.
But when the Christmas Chronicles came out, that was one of the first ones that I've watched where I was like, oh, like more critical eye.
Mhm.
And it was interesting watching that movie because they took a whole technological route with the way Santa did his
the way he works.
Mm-hmm.
the way he works and everything. But I hated in that movie the way they did the elves.
Oh,
Like, the
Yeah,
elves
they were
were
like
like-
little CGI.
Yeah, they were like
creatures.
CGI
It was really
Furbies.
weird.
So I was worried going into this that Disney was going to take that approach because, you know, sometimes they do that. And they didn't, and everyone was human, and I was like, thank God.
What they did do though was have a lot of extended shots with all the reindeer, the CGI reindeer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
I
I
wasn't
mean,
a huge fan of the CGI.
They
reindeer.
just do that because people like reindeers, just like on Santa Claus
Yeah.
and things like that. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just them doing cute stuff or whatever. But the CGI in this movie isn't quite like I would even say that it's not up to par with like some TV stuff. Like The Mandalorian looks better than this movie. You know what I'm saying?
well, I don't know how
In
much
some
money
parts.
they spent
Yeah.
on this movie.
Right.
You know, it's a
That's the thing, and I
Low
don't know
budget.
either. I do not have the budget for this film because it was on Disney Plus. They don't have to report that kind of stuff, so
So
they
who knows?
do not.
So I guess I brought all that up because I was worried about certain parts of it being like, oh God, please don't make these like creepy elfy characters. But I do agree the CGI, especially on the little one, the little reindeer
Oh, yeah.
that was her friend, that one was probably the most like, ooh, that's really fake.
Right.
snow cone.
Snow cone.
Snow cone. That's
But overall, I thought the movie was pretty good.
Rover.
It was cute.
Yes, it was cute. I will
I
say.
think. Oh, go ahead.
This movie was starred Anna Kendrick and Bill Hader. He's the the young Santa, and then it was directed by Mark Lawrence, who you might know from directing Miss Congeniality and Miss Congeniality 2.
Hey Lou, do you remember that?
Miss Congeniality with Sandy B.
Can you pick it up, please?
Louis shakes his head.
Can you pick it up and respond?
Oh my god.
Louis
He
shakes
just
his head
shook
into the mic.
His head into the mic. I'm done. Luis does not like Sandy B, which is an issue.
Oh,
Dude,
interesting.
she's awful. Like I don't even
Bro,
understand how
don't hate
people
on
think
my
she's a great
homegirl
actress.
Sandy
I
B.
feel like she's the cutest thing ever.
Can I see a picture of Sandy B?
Sandra Bullock?
Sandra Bullock. You don't
Oh,
know
that you
Sandra
guys call her Sandy B? What the heck? Yes, I know who Sandra Bullock
Oh,
is.
I don't know. Andre started it, so I just went
Oh,
with
yeah.
it.
I was like, I don't know who Sandy B is in Miss Congeniality. I was real confused. Okay. Wow.
My bad. Yes, Sandra Bullock.
Thank you. Okay, I get it now.
Wait, did you just name your mother?
No, his mom's name is Sonia.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I
yeah.
know, I
He's
thought it
like
was Sandra.
Sandra.
Well, my
Oh.
mom ain't named Sandra.
Your mom's
Right?
name is Sonia,
I know what my mom's name is.
not Sonia. Sonia.
Sonia.
That took me a while to get used to.
Yes,
Alright.
yes. Anyway, Noelle stars those two. It also has Billy Eichner. It has who
Billy
else is
Eichner.
Who else is in this? Shelley MacLaine is Elf Polly, and the
Who I thought was the lady who plays Grace and Frankie, but it's not.
oh yeah, it's a different old lady.
She's like
Different
totally
old
the
lady.
Same lady though.
It is very similar.
Like I had to look
to,
it up 3
um,
different times.
What's her name? Lily Tomlin.
Lily
Yeah, that's exactly
yes.
who she looks like.
She's literally the same person.
And then Mr. what's this dude's name? Kingsley Ben Adir plays Jake Hapman, the private detective. I've never seen this guy before, but I liked him in this.
His name is Jeremiah from the Peaky Blinders.
From the Peaky Blinders.
That's right. When I looked him up, I
Jeremiah.
saw that he was on that show. I was like, oh, they're going to bring him up. Here we go. I've never seen this Peaky Blinders.
Which, you want to know what's so funny? Is I'm like, dude,
I know.
Luis, this guy, I know him. How do I know him? And at first I thought it was the kid who played the main character in the Pikachu Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, I guess
And then
he
I
does
was
kinda look like him.
no, that's not him. That's not him.
Mhm.
But I'm like, Luis, I know this kid. So I finally looked it up. I'm like, it's Jeremiah from the Peaky Blinders. And he's like, oh my God, he's an adult. Because he plays a kid on that show.
Does he?
So,
how old is that show? Like 5, 6 years, something like that?
well, here's
Well,
the deal.
he
They
could have been
probably...
an old adult playing a young kid.
Right, yeah.
Well, and they probably, like, when they first introduced him on the show, he was played by a kid.
Oh,
And then
okay.
he, like,
And then
grew
he
up
grew
over
up.
the years.
Gotcha.
But, anywho,
That makes
long
sense.
story short, Luis and I debated probably 25 times. Is Anna Kendrick playing Princess Poppy from the Trolls? Or is Princess Poppy playing Anna Kendrick? Because
Anna Kendrick is Poppy, dude.
They are
No,
Like,
they're the
one and
same.
the
They're the
same.
same person.
Literally, like, especially in this movie where she's making the cards and stuff. I was waiting for them to pop glitter.
Or when she was
I was
singing,
like,
I was like, it's Poppy.
yep, there she is.
Yeah.
Did Addie watch this?
We tried to have her watch it this morning because we had watched it a couple days ago, and she was just not into it. And I think it freaked her out that she was listening to Poppy's voice because she was like,
Oh,
Did
really?
she
"Is
know?
that-" Well, I said, like, let me try to explain this really hard concept to you that people play in movies
Yeah.
when it's drawn, and she's like, drawn, and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh
They
no.
play the character, and so the voice of Poppy is a real person walking around, and she's just looking at me like, what in the good world?
Yeah,
Like,
no
had
concept
no
of
idea
that.
what I was
Yeah.
talking about. And then Louise was like, yeah, you know Cooper, which is another troll.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Cooper's voice is in there too. And then so every scene she's like, is that Cooper's voice? Is that Cooper's voice? And I'm like, it's literally at the end of the movie. No, like, he's not in the scene. But
That's
so
funny.
she was not in, like, she was
Confused.
confused.
Yeah,
She wanted to watch
Yeah.
Avatar. She
Oh,
was
well.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, she's an Avatar kick.
She's
I
like-
love her.
I'm Zuko.
Fireman. That's very funny. Yeah, I guess the concept of animation and voice acting is a little out of the realm of a child's imagination
I
when they're just like,
guess.
yeah, Poppy in the Trolls world, that's real. And
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
trying
they
to,
think
I'm
it's
trying
real.
to get there one day. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's only 3.
Yeah. I didn't know James Earl Jones was, Mufasa and Darth Vader. If I had known that when I was like very young, I would have blown my mind. Yeah. I would've
Yeah,
been-
probably. You would have been like, what?
You said what?
What?
The body actor of Darth Vader died recently.
That's right. R.I.P. to Mr. David Prowse, who played the
Body actor.
body of,
The body
of
actor.
Darth
Body
Vader.
actor.
not-
Body actor.
I
was waiting for
Oh my God.
Luis is so mad about this trend.
Y'all better
He
shut up
said
with that
body.
yaddy, yaddy,
He
yaddy.
This-
said body
You
actor.
used the word body, okay?
I was like, he said body.
that body song has permeated through both of these households over and over and over again since last week.
We just keep sending each other videos back and forth of the Grinch
The
doing
Grinch
body.
doing it's always the Grinch lately.
The memes are
and Gandalf. Gandalf was
Gandalf
funny.
doing the body. Yeah.
the
Or
body.
old people.
Yeah,
old people.
There's a lot of body challenges.
Yeah, we
happening.
don't care about the ones that look good. We just care about
No.
the funny ones.
Oh, I need some funnies in my life.
Anywho, yeah, Anna Kendrick is very much an Anna Kendrick character and not necessarily
Well, even on what's the singing one?
Pitch Perfect.
She's the same.
But that was like her her standout breakout role, I believe.
She has such a unique talking voice.
Oh, she was also in Twilight. That's right.
You know.
She was in Twilight?
She was like one of the friends, but she's in all of them.
Yeah,
name is
she
Jessica.
was.
Was she the sister?
No, she's a friend. You know,
She was a kind of passive-aggressive friend.
she was one of the ones that liked. She liked the blonde. She liked. You know how like when Bella went to high school and there was like 3 people that she would hang out with. She was one of those.
No, man.
I'll show you a picture.
I mean, not really, but okay.
When did Pitch Perfect come out? I don't even see it on her IMDb. Her IMDb.
It's back so far.
Oh, it's 2012, and then the Twilights came out in 2010s and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, she's been famous for a while, and because of that, I think that her charm is kind of what sells this movie for me. It's her being funny and silly as we said, like an elf type character, Will Ferrell style.
I've only seen, I think we might have talked about this, but I've only ever seen Elf once. and I don't think that I was like in an in-between stage where,
didn't-
I remember her in that.
didn't
Yeah,
love
like
it.
one of the friends.
Didn't love it, didn't hate it.
Yeah, I did. I just don't think I was like ready for that at my
Weren't ready for
time.
it.
I just have never. I like Will Ferrell, but he also like. There was a time where he wasn't hitting it for me.
Sure.
Like it was like the time when Step Brothers was coming out. Like it wasn't hitting on the
man.
right.
He was hitting it.
He was hitting it elsewhere. He just wasn't hitting
Talladega
it in
Nights, hands down.
my funnies.
That's right.
Talladega Nights, one of the best ones he was in.
So yeah, let's get into this plibbity plot. So
Plot's pretty simple.
the plot is pretty simple.
Maybe we should do some. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Do somewhat.
I don't know. Some Will Ferrell's on this podcast. I guess he's not really in Disney
He's
stuff.
not in-
He's an elf.
he might be in. Actually, yeah,
He's
I
not
can't
in
think of
Disney
a
stuff.
single Disney thing. But actually, Elf itself is a John Favreau movie, and John Favreau, who has directed several Disney things at this
Well,
point.
that's why that would
Jungle Book,
yeah.
Lion King, The Mandalorian. He's got his Iron Man. He's got his little tendrils and all
Yeah.
kinds of kind of Disney stuff. So it has that kind of feeling, I suppose. But yeah, this movie, Noelle, starts off with a classic Santa scene. It's a little girl waking up, going like, "Oh my God, I think Santa's here," and then she goes and tries to investigate. And she sees Santa come down the chimney. He's going very slowly. I was like, "You got a lot of houses to hit tonight, dog. You better pick up the pace."
Oh my
And-
goodness.
Luis was so mean. He was so mad. He's like, "What is happening here?"
He's going super slow. He's pitter-pattering around. He's drinking milk and cookies and stuff like that. And she goes, "Santa, I see you." And he goes, "Oh, a little girl. Were you naughty or nice this year?" She's like, "Dad." And we're like, "What?"
Okay, and then this is where I made the comment that at this point in the movie, as an adult watching a new Christmas movie that has Santa in it, the whole concept of Santa really freaks me out.
It freaks you out?
It freaks me out. He comes down the chimney, and then he sees kids, and he tries to coax them back to sleep, and you feed him cookies, and he leaves you presents.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
It's really creepy. Okay, and then this is where, like, all of a sudden I had a moment of, like, ugh, Santa kind of freaks me out. When he was talking to her, like, in this moment. It freaked me out.
Because of his voyeuristic,
Why is he so
burglaristic,
happy? Why is he so happy?
omnipotent powers.
Yeah.
Because he's watching you all
Yeah.
the time, and then he breaks into your house, but he leaves you gifts. Or he gives you coal.
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, the concept of Santa is a weird one, but obviously a very traditional one at this point. And
Nobody else had that feeling when we were watching this scene?
I mean,
Just me?
let's get into Andre's general opinions about Santa. When I was 5, knew Santa was too good to be true, and I stayed up all
Of course
night
he did.
and discovered that he wasn't real, and that my parents just came and dropped the maybe I shouldn't be saying this on the family friendly show. I don't know.
Probably
if
not.
I should,
Did hey Andre?
yo.
Did you guys celebrate
Yes.
Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah.
My dad did not like celebrations of any kind. He wanted us to try to skip stuff all the time.
Which is hilarious because y'all are celebrating all the time.
Oh yeah, my mom won that
To
fight,
this
I
day.
think. Yes, absolutely. So
yeah,
yes,
she
we
definitely did. Your dad just kind of puts up with it, even birthdays. But
Correct.
I mean, he's a Jehovah's Witness, so they
Yes.
don't celebrate.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. He's not a celebrator, but
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely got our celebrate on. And so yeah, the concept of Santa was introduced to our household when we were pretty young, but it didn't stick around for very long. I have to ask my siblings and see how long they believed necessarily, but I think I ruined it for everybody pretty quick because that night on the Christmas of my fifth year on Earth, I was like, I've discovered the true conspiracy of Santa.
See, me and my older sister, we used to stay up and we would steal my dad's video camera and we would prop it up on the thing and we were like, yeah, we're going to stay awake all night and we're going to videotape and we're going to see him. It never happened. We just fell asleep, but like, I don't remember when I knew
review
that.
the tape.
No, I didn't know how to do that.
You're trying to get video
So
evidence.
you
but not-
legitimately did the Christmas Chronicles movie.
Yeah.
But I don't, like, we used to
But
do
then
that
didn't know
all
how
the
to do
time.
it.
Or then when you got a little bit older and they had that Santa tracker on the internet, you could see what country he was in and he was getting close. And my parents would be like,
Oh
you have to
my.
go to bed. He's getting close to America or whatever. And we were like, okay, we gotta go to bed.
I do not remember
But
that. Andre had stopped believing when that became
Oh,
a
yeah.
But
for
we,
sure.
I mean, I don't remember when I knew Santa wasn't real, but we always had to play along. Because my mom, like, even my older sister, like, we were teens, we had to play along because my little sister believed in Santa, you know, so we played along very nicely. And my mom to this day still writes our Christmas presents from Santa. And I'm like, Mom, I know I know it's you. Like, so like, it's just nice to write it's from Santa. Yeah, okay.
That's so
I mean,
funny.
Michelle, as a 26-year-old, you better know it's your mama and not Santa.
Well, I mean, our listeners know this now too, but my younger
I'll
sister,
have you know.
my younger sister has autism, so some years she would be like, Santa's not real, Michelle. He's not real. I'm like, I know he's not real. And then the next year she would be like, you have to go to bed because Santa's coming and I'm tracking him on the thing. I'm like, you thought he wasn't real last year? What happened?
She flips, she flops.
And then
you
she'll
know.
be like, it's fun to pretend, but you need to go to bed. And I'm like, so do you believe or not? Like, so it's always kind of been this thing that we just went along with. So it'll be very interesting when I have kids to like see what
Right, yeah. So
they feel like. I don't know.
My philosophy now is I bought the gifts. You gonna know who bought the gifts, okay?
Yeah, Andre yesterday was like, our kids don't have to know about Santa. I ain't telling they're gonna bring no gifts. I also saw this thing too, and it was like, make sure you fill your own stockings on Christmas with stuff. Otherwise, your kids are gonna think that you were bad and Santa didn't bring you anything for your stocking. I was like, oh snap, that's a good point.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
There's a lot of intricate things. There's elves on shelves. There's all kinds of stuff to uphold the
How are
Santa, the Santa conspiracy.
Addie saw Santa today.
So it's really funny because Luis and I had talked about it the first year that we had Addie, and she was probably like 5 or 6. She was 5 months when Christmas came around the first year.
So not enough
And
to
so
know.
we were like, like we don't have to even like think about Santa this year. Like,
Don't have to
what
bring
does
it
it
up.
matter?
Yeah.
And then the next year we were pregnant with Olivia, and we were like, okay, like let's talk a little bit about how this is gonna go down. And Luis was like, no Santa, like let's not do it.
Right.
Like it's just like
It's
no.
a lot.
And especially too because I mean, I realize we do things differently, but we are trying like really hard to like limit the gifts and limit things and make it more like Christian centered, like in our household.
Well, and just like doing
And-
stuff as a family. Like Andre and I don't usually buy each other Christmas gifts. We just do something.
Right.
Yeah.
So for us, because we're doing it in a little bit of a different way, like doing the Santa thing does take away from like what we're trying to focus on. But then it's so funny because so nothing came from Santa last year.
Okay.
And Addie didn't seem to notice or not notice or whatever.
Sure.
But again, she was literally like
Still little.
still under 2.
Mm-hmm.
No, two
Three.
and some.
Yeah.
Anywho, so this year, like when things started coming out and like movies and stuff, she's really starting to be into things. And when Nightmare Before Christmas like rolled into the family this Halloween, she was like, Santa this, Santa that, Santa blah blah blah, Santa, right? And then of course Christmas comes out, Santa's blown up everywhere.
Right.
Santa's
Yeah,
everywhere.
It's
yeah,
hard
yeah.
to avoid.
You can't avoid Santa.
Yeah.
Like not even a little bit.
If you just do one present from Santa, like
Yeah,
this one
you
is from
totally-
Santa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you totally
Yeah.
can. And it's hilarious too because it's so in our culture that like today, Addie, we were around some people and Addie said like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool! I want that." And then another parent said to her, "Have you told
Santa.
Santa? Ask Santa."
See, and that's
for
the
it."
hard part is because people say that, and if people are saying that to kids at work, like, "Did you ask Santa for something to Christmas?" I'm like, "Don't ask them that. They might not do Santa in their family." Like, I don't know.
So, and that's the thing is that it's like, well,
it's hard.
I mean, how much? I mean, I have no problem with her thinking that like
Right.
Santa's real or whatever, but like then it does come
How
with
much
like
does
a
it
lot of
permeate in your household?
Yeah.
Is the thing.
like then it's a lot of
You gotta set up. You gotta
Yeah.
you gotta take them to
Oh
sleep.
my
You might have to
gosh.
buy a costume if you get too deep into it. You know.
My grandpa dressed up as Santa every single year in the house.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I told you guys last year in the
Might get to
podcast,
make yourself some cookies. You know?
right?
Yeah,
I
we
will
put
eat
out
those
cookies and
That sounds
carrots.
great.
Yeah, I bet my mom just ate them. Like,
that
I
sounds
would.
like a fantastic idea for
Right.
Emily.
Right.
But anyway,
Wait a minute, you guys left carrots for Santa?
For the reindeer.
for the reindeer.
Well, they are beasts of burden.
I didn't put ranch or anything. It's for the reindeer.
Ranch.
They don't.
Santa
They don't
leave
got
you
no.
all
Some
Buffalo
years we would
Wild?
like pine cones with seeds for the reindeer.
They eat the pine cones.
No, they eat the seeds.
They eat the seeds.
Why are we talking about if they hypothetically, a hypothetical creature hypothetically eats
Well, it's a real creature. It just doesn't
What I
fly.
used to think though was
Yeah.
like, why did Santa only take one bite out of the cookie and the reindeer took one bite out of the carrot? Because they made it look like, oh, he
Yeah.
came and ate a little bit. I'm like, why didn't he eat all of it? I would
You
have.
just gotta leave a couple crumbs.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
But I
He
think
was
I did
sparing
tell you
everybody embarrassment about how
he was
how-
full. He ate.
yeah.
much he
Yeah,
ate.
exactly.
He ate billions of cookies.
So I remember.
Speaking of cookies,
Oh, no,
cookies
speaking
are
of
here.
cookies,
They just
we
knocked.
just got cookies delivered again. I think we did this like 3 weeks ago on
Yeah.
the podcast.
Louis,
Louise, are you gonna
Louis,
go
can
get
you
the
pick 'em
cookies?
up? You're the only one not holding a mic. Go pick them up, please.
I will pick them up, and I picked them up.
He picked up the mic, but not the cookies. I guess,
Anywho,
babe, can you get the
I
cookies?
remember
Hang on.
being like maybe 7 or 8, and I remember very distinctly this, like, I'm gonna call it a boom box. It was not a boom box,
Okay.
but it was like a
Speaker system
like
of
a
some kind.
yeah, like a little. What do you call those? Like a radio?
A radio?
Yeah, radio.
Like
A stereo?
I guess we'll call it a stereo.
Okay.
But it had like the boomboxy speakers that you could like detach on the
Yeah,
side.
yeah, it's a stereo.
Anywho, so I got one of those from Santa.
Okay.
And I remember it was like bright yellow. It was like this weird like anywho. But I thought it was the
It was
coolest thing in
extreme.
the world. And I remember having it like inside my room, and I got to listen to my NSYNC CDs.
Heck
and it
yeah.
was just, it was like my favorite thing ever. And then
Down,
a couple
You
down,
mean
months later,
SYN?
NSYNC.
And
Oh my-
SYNC.
that made me so mad.
Yeah.
We were looking at gifts the other day, or whatever you call those. What are they called? Memes?
Videos, memes.
And it was like a kid, like,
He was like browsing a Spotify playlist.
yeah,
or
and he was
something
like,
that.
oh my God, look at this song. It's called Bye 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 by NYNC.
SNYNC.
And
I was like,
SNYNC.
what?
He
And
didn't
like
know how to
it's-
pronounce it because he was a young.
Excuse
'Cause he was
you?
a youngling.
You mean NSYNC? Get it together.
He
Yeah.
was a youngling.
Fledgling.
We're old. We're old.
Foundling.
So with all of that
The
said,
big boom
I go
box.
outside, and my dad was on the phone talking to someone, and he was like, yeah, I got Emily this really cool yellow boom box
Mhm.
for Christmas. And I turned around and was like,
Wait a minute.
and he turned
Oh,
around
no.
and just the look on his face gave it away to me that like,
Santa's
That-
not real, yeah.
That he's
Like,
been impersonating
oh
Santa
yeah. And
for
I
your
was like,
entire life.
oh yeah? My little 12-year-old voice. And he's like,
Dang.
like literally on the phone, just holding the phone like,
But I feel like
I don't have to
also
call you
kids
back.
these days are ruthless. I bet they're up in school. Not that school's right now, but like Santa ain't real. Like talking
Yeah.
to all the other kids, like I don't even know. So that's why it was
well, and with
very
the internet now, I mean, like, it's very easy to debunk anything.
Yes.
for sure.
Exactly.
And that's why this movie was very interesting. Like you said, from the tech part where they were talking about how to deliver the gifts, like they want to use this thing called Amazon Prime, and I was like, that's smart. Santa ain't going down no chimneys.
Dude,
that's
Luis
weird.
was losing his mind over the tech people. He thought
Bruh.
that
Yeah,
was so funny.
that was
I
probably
loved
the
it.
most funny thing of this
Mhm.
movie.
Hilarious.
Who was your favorite
I
character?
love that guy, man. He's awesome.
His
He
name was-
Was this
definitely
Gary?
running the ship
Gabe.
the way
Gabe.
should
He always
be.
plays someone with a G name.
Gabe.
Yeah, like just simple
Yes,
names.
that is comedian Billy Eichner from
Mhm.
Billy on the Street. He's kind of a crazy person.
Yes.
Wasn't he in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
No, but he was on
That's
Parks and
where he's
Recreation.
from.
Okay,
Parks and
so we
Rec,
watched
okay.
we watched Billy on the Street once, and we literally were
He's,
like, "What is
running,
wrong
like,
with this guy?"
hysterically, Like,
He's running with a microphone. He's offering money to people to answer dumb questions. He's like, "Which celebrity would you love to sleep with?" And they're like, "I don't know." He's like, you're useless."
It's very funny. I think we watched like one. I don't know if it was like a 20-minute episode or something, and we just were like, "This guy is insane."
He's insane.
But it's actually very
is.
funny to then watch him in this type of role where he is
he's a
so
little bit more toned down.
nerdy, but
And, yes.
but
Usually in movies he plays crazy people too,
Oh my
like for sure. He was crazy on Parks and Rec and
Yes.
whatever other things I've seen him on.
Correct. He's a madman. He had a show on Hulu called what was it called? Difficult People. Yeah, where he and like another comedian are kind of running around and being hard to deal with, being divas basically.
Being divas.
Yeah, he's a very funny actor. So I liked him in this a lot too. So let me just set up the
Yeah,
the-
maybe
the
let's
story
get
a little
into the
bit.
movie.
So
And Luis, unless you want to talk about your Santa experience as a child, did your parents do Santa?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
well,
Oh.
you're the youngest, right?
That probably means no.
So they had gone through several children before
Yeah.
you were coming up. So maybe Santa had been displaced by the time you were waking up.
Listeners, I kind of want to know what you guys do for Santa, or if you do Elf on the Shelf too. So let us know.
Yeah, let
in
us
the
know
DMs.
what you did when
Because
you
I
were a
think
kid.
Elf on the Shelf is insane. I will never do that.
Someone explains to me what Elf on a Shelf is, because I've seen him and he creeps me out, but I don't understand what he does.
So,
Does he like look at you?
Elf on the Shelf.
Andre can explain it because Mia is obsessed with
Yes.
Elf on the Shelf, our niece.
Elf on the Shelf is a way to control your children throughout the year coming up towards Christmas.
Yep.
Right? So you bring...
It's actually really creepy.
It's very interesting. You bring out the Elf on the Shelf, okay? You put him somewhere in your home. And you go, hey, watch out, Larry the Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah, you can name him whatever you want.
He's-
Everybody names the elf something different.
He's watching you, okay?
He's watching you.
He's
Yeah.
watching you and reporting to Santa. So if you don't do what he says, then he'll report you as naughty and you won't get any gifts. And then you, overnight, you move the Elf on the Shelf to a different location.
And people like to have him do like mischievous things.
Yes, so he'll he'll rearrange all the magnets on the fridge and sit on top of the fridge.
He does naughty things.
You know?
Yeah.
So the Elf on the Shelf, it's just an extra step in like Santa's watching you.
Like I don't know. I don't
It's
know if
very
you saw
creepy.
Liz's, like, Elf on the Shelf got delivered in a jar, and it said he has to quarantine for 2 weeks before they could open the jar for him because he just got there or whatever.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so people get really creative. I've seen, like, Elf on the Shelf, like, frozen in ice and, like, a Elsa doll right next to it, like, going like this. And so the kids wake up and they're like, oh, no, Elsa froze the Elf on the Shelf, you know?
Holy
like,
moly.
they do crazy, insane things. So the kids are excited. Like, they wake up every morning and they go see the Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah.
But I think it's creepy. It reminds me of, like, porcelain dolls. I don't like
Yeah,
it.
so he hangs out until Christmas Eve, and then, he goes and reports
And then he
everything back to
reports to
Santa,
Santa, yeah.
and then you get the gifts that you want or not. Me. Peppermint for me.
I think it was me.
So yeah, so that's another interesting aspect of Santa in that he's a tool for parents to to
Yeah, he
create nice
is.
children, right? And that's like I think for parents that's like the main reason why
They do it, you think?
Thank you.
Santa
Yes.
ain't gonna bring you any gifts.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. You have to be good right now, otherwise you're not getting any Christmas gifts. And I know that because Santa's watching you, and he knows, and you're not getting nothing. You're gonna get a lump of coal.
Dude, I can't wait till we have kids and I'm gonna get him action figures and then I'm gonna play with them.
I mean,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be like, give me that Captain America doll right now.
Okay, so back to the plot of this. Little girl sees Santa. She calls him Dad. He reveals himself to be the real Santa, who is also her real father. And he gives her and her brother some gifts. She gets a whole bunch of Teen Vogue stuff, and the brother gets a Santa hat, meaning that he is taking the next step in his Santa training so that he can become Santa when his dad Santa dies.
Very obviously not happy about it. Hecka funny.
He was like, oh.
And Noelle
Bill Hader
is
as a kid.
upset. Yes, Bill Hader as a kid and Anna Kendrick as
I'm
a
not
kid.
gonna lie, I wouldn't want to be Santa either. If that was like a real
Those are
job.
some very fuzzy shoes to fill.
Right, is some big shoes. So the Bill Hader character Nick, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
He's excited when he's a kid about it, but Noelle is like jealous. She's like, well, what am I gonna do? I don't get to be Santa. I don't get to help. What do I get to do? And Santa basically explains that like, well, you're Santa's sister, so you have to be a helper and you have to be merry and jolly.
make him cards and make
and-
sure he always has
and
the Christmas spirit.
help Santa be Santa. And so she's like,
And
okay.
I was like, that is sexist.
I want to do something important, and that's kind of the thrust of her character.
Mm-hmm.
So we move on. She gets older. She's got a pet reindeer named Snow Cone. He's cool. She's singing and twirling through the streets. She's got some.
I was waiting for her to sing, but she didn't.
Right. This movie is not a musical. She does
Which
sing
I'm
out the
happy
window
about.
to the Snow Cone. Yes, I'm kind of happy about it too. I don't need
But
a whole bunch of
we
singing
see
happening.
that they've grown up,
Mm-hmm.
and Santa passed away 5 months ago, so about halfway in between Christmases. So since then, it's been Bill Hader's job to become Santa,
He's Santa.
and he's not ready.
He's
And it's very funny.
He's not happy about. He's been training his entire life or whatever, but his heart is not into it. So every time he gets out on the sleigh, he crash lands every time.
And it's like a
he's-
whole production team. Like, it literally looks like Universal Studios. It's so funny.
That's kind of the interesting conceit about this movie is that the Santa Claus is a title, and it is passed down through the Kringle family line. So every male Kringle for the past the hundreds of thousands of years or whatever has been Santa Claus. And they perform the job to the best of their ability, and sometimes they do different
Right,
stuff,
right.
and that's how there's so many different legends of Santa and stuff like that, is because there's different Kringles putting on the suit. And so with Nick, he's very reluctant Santa, but Noelle is there to help him along and encourage him and stuff like that. And eventually, because he's so neurotic about Christmas and having to be Santa, she's like, you know what? Maybe you just need like a little bit of time away. Maybe you need to go take a weekend and head on out. Take some time for yourself, come back refreshed, and then you can be Santa. And he was like,
I'm confused. I'm like, where is he gonna go take a weekend? Everybody there has like never left that village.
That's the thing, is that they live at the North Pole. The Kringles are the only humans there, and everybody else is an elf. Is that what I'm?
I think so.
Thinking. And I guess humans is.
I mean, yeah, they're all humanoids.
Right.
But it seems like if you're not a Kringle, then you're an elf-esque person.
Right. Yes, exactly. So everybody else is an elf, but then there's several Kringles. There's not just Noelle and Nick and their mother.
Yeah, there's
Mrs.
cousins.
Claus.
It's a Kringle
There's
family.
there's also cousins and stuff like that. Yeah.
They're like the magical family, I guess.
A lot of the cousins are in tech support, and that's where Gabe comes in.
Freaking hilarious.
Super happy about it.
Freaking hilarious.
So when Nick decides to take his vacation weekend away from Santa, he does not come back. So Gabe, as the next male Kringle, has been assigned the title of Santa Claus, and he tries to bring in a lot of technological.
He doesn't even want it. I think they're
This is
in the
so
meeting
funny to
with
me.
the elder elves, and he's like, "Well, I'm in tech right now, and I'm kind of loving it." Like he does not want
I
to.
love it.
He does not want to be Santa.
My favorite thing is they're sitting up there and they have all the elder elves, and the main elder elf like has his gavel that's made out of peppermint, and he like knocks the gavel and it breaks off a piece and he starts eating it.
Licking it.
And he's like, "You, Gabe Kringle," and Gabe's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, get up here. You're gonna be Santa."
He's like, "I'm happy in my tech job
Not me,
right
man.
now."
So because he's so happy at his tech job, he takes some liberties that I guess we'll get to later.
So funny.
But Noelle is very worried about her brother Nick, and
Well, she's worried about him, but she's also like, I gotta save my name because people are hating on Noelle right now. They're like, you had one job to keep your brother happy and you didn't do it, and
all
they
you're
are
supposed to be
pissed at
doing.
her. Even her mom sends her letters like, you are a disappointment, like everything. I was like, oh my god, they're being really
honestly, it
hard
was
on
like-
her.
It's like, why was that her one job? Like,
right. What?
this
what?
is an awful job for
It
somebody.
is an awful job.
How many Kringles get to the Santa position, and they need to be like chained to their desk so they don't run off and disappear to the real world? How bad is this job? Why isn't it just multiple people every other year?
Yeah.
Just take.
Well, and they were
the
like,
role of Santa or
"Oh,
whatever.
and the Santa's workshop is all behind schedule." I'm like, "Why is that Santa's fault? Get those elves
Yeah,
working."
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
this is not his
doesn't
problem.
sound like it was Santa's problem. Y'all
Yeah.
elves didn't get it together. Haven't you seen other elf movies? They got it together.
It's very interesting the way that this North Pole works, because it is like a little village, and all the elves are in there and working, and they have different jobs and stuff like
Located
that
behind
too.
the Disney Castle, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah,
I liked that.
it is. It is back there behind the Disney Castle, yeah, the workshop and the elves, they're all like a small town kind of feel to it, and the Kringles are like royalty there. So Noelle is kind of like a princess, but when she makes this horrible mistake of sending off Nick, everybody gets mad at her and they start treating her like a straight up second class citizen. They're like, no, you don't get the discount at Elfie's or whatever.
At Elfie's. She's straight up Cinderella.
Yeah, and nobody likes her. Nobody's paying attention to her. So she decides to go find Nick for herself, even though Gabe has been instituted as the next Santa. She finds Nick by looking through some of his old stuff. He was researching magazines, and he found a yoga studio in Arizona. So that's where he decided to go. So Noelle steals the sleigh and the reindeer, flies down to Arizona in December, but it's Arizona, so it's hot. It's still pretty hot there. Everybody's wearing shorts and stuff like that. She's in her full North Pole regalia.
So funny.
And she starts. This is where the movie gets pretty elfy, because she becomes like a fish out of water in Arizona, or a seal out of snow. If you're a penguin out of the North Pole. Anyway,
Out of the igloo.
yes. So she gets down there. She starts interacting with people, and this is where we start seeing that she has some innate abilities that Nick and some of the other Kringles do not have. She knows when somebody is nice, just by looking at them. And that was a problem that Nick was having. He's like, how am I supposed to know what these kids want for Christmas? It's like,
It's an iPad.
You just know. It's an iPad.
That was very funny.
There was a lot of iPad jokes. She can see when people are nice. She can see when what else? Languages. She can speak other languages. That's right. At one point, she visits a homeless shelter and meets a young deaf girl in there who's using sign language. And at first, she can't understand the sign language, but then after looking at this little girl for like 2 minutes, she picks it up immediately and knows what she wants for Christmas, or she asks her what she wants for Christmas. And
but she also kind of knows what they want for Christmas without like thinking about it. And this is where it gets very like the movie gets predictable. Like I knew very early on that she was gonna be Santa.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody did.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing is when she's in Arizona, when they land in like a shopping mall, like an outdoor shopping mall, you know, like one of like an outlet or whatever. Yeah. And the lady there who's like the manager of the shopping mall is like, you cannot have your reindeer here in your sleigh. People try to do this all the time. I'm not going to give you any money, blah, blah, blah. But then the guy at the Petco comes over and he's like, oh my gosh, who put these reindeers here? Everybody's buying the bird seed for them. And the manager's like, like obviously obsessed with him. So she lets them stay. And the elf nanny, I don't remember her name.
Elf
Polly, she comes with her, and like
Lily
throughout the movie, her entire wardrobe just changes. It's getting like more and more Arizona, like crazy old lady Arizona.
She has to like hide her elf ears behind a whole bunch of stuff.
Literally,
she gets
so
like a blowout hairstyle.
So she's like having this side gig right here, but then she also needs to find her brother. Well, her brother is just a Santa Claus. Dressed like a Santa Claus is the only picture she has, and that could be anybody, right? So she goes to a private investigator and tries to pay him in chocolate coins to like find her brother.
It's gold on the outside and chocolate on the inside.
Yeah, I was thinking of like those coins at Disneyland. I love those things. I was like, I'll take them.
It's real gold on the outside.
It's a very clever, like it's a very simple storyline, but the way they go about it is pretty clever. And I think Anna Kendrick was probably like the perfect person to do this role.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, her charm overshadows a lot of the issues that you might have with the character.
Yeah. Exactly.
So she's going through. She meets with this private investigator. He's like a curmudgeonly single dad that doesn't want to have nothing to do with no Christmas or nothing like that. He has a son, and a whole subplot is that he and his ex-wife don't get along, and all the son wants is for them to be together for Christmas. But that's not something that Jake, the PI, wants to do or thinks he is capable of doing. Yeah. So he's kind of put it all on the back burner and is,
And the kid isn't like expressing that outwardly. It's just implied.
Right.
But the dad's not getting that because he just wants to like be his best dad self when the kid's around.
And he's really single dadding it up. Like his PI office is his apartment, and he can't cook, and he he's got bad pajamas and stuff like that. He's a straight up single dad. And Noelle comes in, and she kind of gets the lay of the land pretty quickly for somebody who doesn't really interact with society. And she can tell that the kid wants them to be together and stuff like that. So she kind of starts playing into the kid's side of the argument and stuff like that. And she does that a lot throughout the movie with other characters as well, and bringing the Christmas spirit to everybody that she's around. Eventually she wins him over, and Jake agrees to help find Nick Santa.
Which is just the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, where is he going to be? What is this?
A yoga studio taught by Nick S. Or Nick C. Kringle.
Right, yeah. It's so interesting because Nick he doesn't have like a social security number. He's not on the internet. How is a private investigator going to find this dude? But he Googles around to yoga studios because she said that he's into yoga, and finds out that a class is being taught, and he's by a new teacher, Nixie, and so that's where she goes to find him.
And honestly, it fits Nick so well.
So-
Like, so well.
So Bill Hader is in this yoga
I
studio,
love that actor.
and he's just as fish out of water as she is, but he's been in Arizona for a couple months now, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So he's in there.
At least a little longer than her.
He's doing yoga. He's like, everybody do downward reindeer. and, and then Noelle comes in. She surprises him. And they start talking / arguing because she's like, you
they
gotta
do
come
like
back.
a cute little "oh my god" at the beginning, and then they start
And
arguing.
then
Dude, it's
Yeah.
hot here. Oh, yeah, it's so hot.
That's right. They start relating to each other. But yeah, then
Oh my
their
God,
then
I'm
their
here.
sibling relationships start to come to a head because she's like, you have to come back. You have to be Santa. No one else can do it but you. They put Gabe in there, but he's going crazy.
I think at this point they said Gabe said there's only 2,857
kids.
nice kids in the world, and it's the funniest thing. He's like, that kid didn't floss. and
This is
you
where
know how they
Louise
have
was
the
losing
Santa's
it.
helpers in the background? They're like, dental hygiene.
Oh, that's right. That's where the singing is in this movie.
I'm like, what's going on? I don't
Santa's
floss.
helpers
Let's be
are
real.
so funny.
So funny.
Deck the
Wrong
halls, he
punches.
tried to fly again. Went into the chimney and he fell. Like, so funny.
That's very good. I like how Gabe is like, we only have to send 2,837 presents throughout the world, and we can do it through online delivery. We don't need the sleigh. We don't need the
Amazon
reindeer.
Prime.
Yes.
What they said, he's got something about Amazon Prime and these drones delivering them, and I was like, yeah. I was like, Andre showed me one of those little drone robots the other day. I saw it on the side of the road. Do you remember? And I
Oh,
said,
yeah, the
what's that?
delivery.
And you were like, that's a delivery drone or delivery robot. And I was like, that's the creepiest thing I've ever seen.
Just
I
has some
don't-
wheels. It has a little compartment for the package. In
It was
So
lost. It
Wally.
didn't know where to go.
Wally.
He was just going in circles, not
Also-
delivering a package.
Also, Gabe is saying that, like, for the naughty children, we're going to send them a rejection email that's going to say, sorry, but you did not qualify as nice for this year. You can reapply next year.
Here's how you
To
And
get
I
off the
really
naughty
love
list.
that it's like you didn't make your bed, you didn't floss your teeth.
all things I don't do,
You
and I
stole
would
from the
see
cookie jar.
naughty. For sure.
Yes, exactly. And then that's kind of where some of the other inhabitants of the North Pole are like, well, that's not what makes a kid nice or naughty. You know,
Yeah.
there's more. The more complex. It's not everything's.
Dude, I feel
black
like
and
Luis
white.
loved that dude because he was like a rule follower. He was like,
Oh,
nah,
yeah.
we doing this. Like,
Sorry.
He's a streamlining rule follower.
Yeah, he's really trying to bring some technological
Amazon Prime delivery
advancements.
made sense, though.
So Noelle and Nick are arguing about him coming back because he's like, I don't want to be Santa. I've never wanted to be Santa. This is an awful job, and I'm happy here. I'm super duper happy. I do yoga. I chill out. It's hot. It's not cold.
Sounds like everything Andre wants in his life.
Homie is in love with Arizona, and I'm not too far behind him.
Yeah.
So he kind of kicks Noelle to the curb at this point. And what happens after
She
this?
blows out a candle and he gets pissed and she leaves.
not just him, but the whole yoga studio.
They're
goes,
like, he was like, oh, you can't do that here.
She gets mad and looks at all the candles like,
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna
She leaves and she goes back
Back to
to the
Jake.
mall, and
right.
then Jake is there with his son with the reindeer or whatever, like hanging out, and she's like, yeah, I found my brother, but he doesn't want to do this, and he's like, will you tell me what's I don't remember if that was when they had the conversation about who she really is.
Yes, I think
Yeah, that's really
she
weird.
reveals to Jake that she is from the North Pole and that she's the daughter of Santa and that her brother is Santa.
And he's
she's
like,
there to help out. He's like, okay, crazy lady. Thanks for being nice to my kid, but I can't talk to you no more. You too crazy.
Yeah.
which
Talking all the Santa
I
nonsense.
kept trying to think in my mind, like, if I was having this conversation with this like girl,
Mhm.
I would think the same thing. Like, this is insanity.
You're just doing a lot. Okay.
Like, no.
So I don't. Oh, she goes and finds Snow Cone comes, the little reindeer. He came
Right,
all
he
the
got-
way to deliver a rejection letter, basically from her mom, saying like, "You're a disappointment, but please get Nick
Bring
back, right?"
'cause Gabe is
So
ruining
she
things.
uses Snow Cone and his nose to go find him, and he went to a yoga retreat,
That's right.
like farther away, but it has like a vow of silence, and she's like trying to like not talk, and he's like, "Stop it! Like you can't do that here," and everyone's getting mad at them.
They're
But they
both talking.
make up, and she just leaves the letter about the thing that happened at the North Pole, and he comes the next day to the mall. But when he comes to the mall the next day, she's like, "You're going to be Santa right now, and you're going to love it, right?" It was so bad.
So he becomes the mall Santa. He puts on I think does he have his suit with him?
No,
He
they had
left
to
that
go
at the
rent
North
one
Pole.
at that store.
Right, so they rent a suit
At
for
the
him.
Santa Emporium College.
Yeah, the Santa school. So he sits down. There's a line of kids waiting, and as each kid comes up, Nick is doing a very medium, even for a mall Santa, medium job. Going like, "Hey, what do you want for Christmas? Okay, I don't know if I can get that
My
for
favorite
you."
was the one girl who was like,
Super
"Let's be
sassy.
real.
Oh my
I'm
God.
just doing this so my parents can practice using Snapchat." I was like, "Oh, dang."
Okay,
Okay.
all
And
right.
he's like, "Have you been a nice girl?" And she's like, "I don't know why you need to know that." And
Right.
he's like, "You're right.
It's none of
you're
your
right.
business.
You're right. That was too forward of me."
And so all the while, Noelle is watching all these kids,
And knows
she knows
everything.
immediately if they're nice or naughty, and she knows what they want for Christmas. And so she's like helping out, but it's like pretty obvious to us, the audience, that she is destined to be the
Santa.
Santa.
And she's like translating for like the kid who's speaking in like Punjabi or something.
Yeah. There's a whole cavalcade of skills that she has that Nick does not have. But all the while, she's like, "Come on, Nick, you can do this. You gotta be better at it." Eventually, the actual mall Santa who's supposed to be there comes. He's like, "Hey, I graduated Santa school, dog. You gotta get out of here." And they start fighting.
Why would Phoenix have a Santa school?
I don't know.
just cannot.
Oh yeah, all the Santas that she had seen earlier in the movie didn't have like pants on. They were all wearing shorts with the Santa top.
It's hot, man. It's probably like 90 there.
Very funny. So as they're fighting with this other Santa, a cop comes.
Yeah.
Noelle kicks the cop in a fit of Christmas
And
rage
gets arrested.
and gets arrested.
I was not expecting that. I was like, wow, this took a turn
Yeah.
for the serious.
It really went kind of crazy. She goes to jail. They start questioning her and realize that she's crazy because she's talking about Santa and
They
Christmas.
make her
and
go
stuff.
see a
They
psychologist.
make her go to the psych ward.
Yeah, she's like in a mental hospital. Well, she's in a hospital.
She's at the
Yes.
prison still, but
Yeah, the jail. So they sent her off to the psych ward, and Jake, who did he see this happen? No.
no, the elder elf
Polly.
goes to his house.
Yes.
And it's like, "So she told you about that?" And he was like, "Yeah, she's crazy." And then he was like, "I only believe things I see." And she was like, "Well, if that's the case, here's my ears." And he was like, "Whoa, you got to go get those checked out."
Yeah, 'cause
What
she's
are those?
She's got crazy elf ears going on. But she kind of convinces him to go
Save her.
help her out, get her out of jail. So he goes down to the station.
Yeah,
He's-
she's over there like playing those heartstrings like, "Oh, so you can't see love, but it's there, right?
It's right there.
Oh,
Can
oh.
you see that?
You
Hmm.
care
love
about your kid, but
Mhm.
but you can't see that."
So he goes and he uses his little PI privilege to get like 2 minutes with her
Yeah, he's got a couple
or
friends,
whatever,
cops or
and
whatever.
then Polly has the sleigh outside, and so they hop on the sleigh, and that's where Jake is like, "Huh?
Oh,
Oh, it's real?"
It's real. And also, the psychologist comes out and she sees the sleigh
She,
and
like,
she
straight up
faints.
passes out.
like, girl, get it
Which is very
together.
funny.
If I saw a flying sleigh, I'd be like, "Sick, nice, get me on that
Sick.
right now."
yeah,
Do it.
I wouldn't jump immediately to Santa is real. I'd be like, whoa, somebody tricked out this drone and put seats in it and
Yeah.
attached some CGI reindeer to it too. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So they fly back to the North Pole. It's Christmas Eve now at this point. Gabe has completely
Oh my
gone
gosh.
Santa crazy. He dyed his hair white. he's wearing a tactical red jacket as a
Dude,
Santa
it's so
suit.
funny though.
And he is ready to deploy these drones to get 2,837 presents delivered to the nice children, which are probably just like the nerdiest kids in the whole world or whatever, right?
Probably.
They have clean bedrooms and clean teeth.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Nick shows up. He goes up there to attempt to give a speech, going like, "I don't want to be Santa, but I think I have a person that I can nominate to be Santa." And he invites Noelle up. She's still in her hospital gown, and the elders
And her little candy cane stockings.
Yeah.
So cute.
One of the elders is like, "She can't be Santa. She's a girl," and that's where we kind of get like the whole feminist issue of this movie going, where one of the other elders goes, Actually, I was looking in the bylaws, and it never actually says that a male has to be Santa. We've all just been carrying on this tradition ourselves. So if she can inspire us with the tradition of Christmas, then maybe we'll let her be Santa. And so,
God.
and so she does.
I know. I was kind of like, geez. All right.
So she gives a rousing speech about how the
How
Christmas
she went to all of these different
Right.
places and she saw all of these people who were hurting but who still had hope, and how
Yes.
Christmas was able to inspire them even if they didn't have anything, even if they, needed more than they could give, they could still inspire people with being Christmas
people.
stewards, I
Yeah,
guess.
the stewards of Christmas.
I mean, I guess. And it was a good speech. It
Mhm.
moved the hearts of millions of elves.
Of elves.
And she was able to put on the suit
Yes.
and get in the sleigh and go to more than 2,000.
More than 2,000 homes
Homes.
in one night.
She basically proves herself as Santa once they believe in her. Some of the kids. She goes to that homeless shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Where the little girl was that spoke sign language, and they all saw her, and she was like, go
Yeah,
back
she
to sleep.
wakes them all up because she's stepping on toys and stuff like that.
But they were like, Santa, thank you.
Like Merry Christmas Santa. Everyone at the shelter acknowledges her as Santa. They all say Merry Christmas Santa, and that's when the suit, the magical Santa suit, form fits to her instead of being a gigantic.
And then, she
4XL
saves the day. She
suit.
delivers all the gifts, and
Mhm.
she is Santa now.
And she is
And
Santa.
what was your comment about the Santa suit, Lou?
I'm glad it wasn't a dress.
He thought it was going to end up being like a Santa.
Mm.
a Santa dress.
Yeah, that would have been
something
weird.
like super cutesy. And
Yeah.
And then she also delivers Jake to his son, and the so that he gets his Christmas gift or whatever.
Right.
I
of
keep
all of them
every time you
together.
guys say Jake, I'm thinking of the new Jake for the State Farm. Do you know
See,
what I'm talking about?
I'm
Have you seen
thinking
the
of
commercial?
I haven't seen that commercial,
Jake
but
Dragon Jake Long, the dragon person.
American Dragon Jake Long.
American Dragon Jake Long.
Okay.
That's what I thought of.
I
I'm
don't
on.
know what you're talking about.
It's a TV show that used
It
to
was
be
a
on
Disney
Disney
show.
Channel.
A long time ago, like the early 2000s.
I am the Avatar.
You haven't seen
I'm
the
the
new
Avatar.
Jake from State
You're just
Farm?
gonna.
We don't have
to do
cable, so we're not
it.
watching commercials regularly.
No, we don't watch
Does he have new
commercials.
khakis? I saw that one.
No.
No.
Oh,
He's like
Jake
a-
from State Farm.
Yeah, he's like a cute black dude now.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Michelle got all excited.
He's all like super fit,
Okay.
and he's like standing back and he's like, yeah, I'll get you good rates. And it's usually like a famous sports person, and then they'll be like, nah, man, like, not just for me. He's like, nah, man, for everybody. And he's like, just for me? He's like, no, like, I get good rates for everybody.
Oh my gosh.
It's hecka funny.
Um,
Anywho. So Jake,
yes,
who's
she picked
Jake?
Jake the
The
PI.
dad.
Oh, the
Yeah,
PI.
she picks him up and takes him over to his ex-wife's house where his kid is, and as is the new stepdad or whatever. And
And they living in a nice Phoenix
yeah,
house.
it's nice. They're doing much better than him and his single dad PI job. But
Poor guy.
but he goes over there and he's so worried about how awkward it's gonna be, and that the stepdad's not gonna want him there, and that the he's gonna ruin Christmas for his kid. But Santa Noelle explains to him that like this is all that he wants. This is everything that this kid could possibly want for Christmas. And so she drops him off there and says, "I'll see you every Christmas Eve, I guess." And there was a real romantic interest thing going on between them throughout the movie. I thought he was going to be like a Mr. Claus kind of
For
thing,
sure.
No, I guess
the first,
not. I thought they were gonna do that too, but they didn't.
The first husband or whatever of the Santa world. But I guess that's
I can imagine them doing a Noelle too, and him being like,
that's sequel fodder. Yeah.
yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, he's doing
Because there was not even a kiss. Like, I
Right.
was expecting there to be at least like a.
Yeah, because there was like
a
this
Santa
weird
smooch.
moment where he was putting sunblock on her face, and they were like having a moment.
Oh,
and
that
I
yeah.
was
like,
hecka funny.
She was trying to eat it. It was really gross.
like, oh,
I knew she was gonna eat it as soon as he handed her the bottle.
You
I was like,
did?
Here it goes.
She goes, it smells like I should eat it, but it tastes like.
Tastes bad.
Yeah, no, it's not good, girl.
Yeah, so that's basically the end of the movie. She gets back to the North Pole, and everybody there acknowledges that she's Santa as well. And that's it. And I guess she's Santa from here on out. Oh, I think it shows a little bit of her in the future, the next Christmas, and she's running things, and she's
yeah,
doing it well.
she's doing a thing.
And Nick is still doing yoga.
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Yeah, he has the first yoga class at the North Pole with like the elder elves and
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, and Polly became an elder elf.
That's right.
Yeah.
She got to go to elder status. She's basically like the Santa's butler, I guess, is what
Yeah.
what she was.
Well, she was her nanny.
right. She's a nanny elf. That's it for Noelle and Nick, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Still nanny, and even though they're 28 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
basically.
one of my I did overall like this movie, but one of the things once I sat back and thought about it a little bit, I did not either like or understand really. It seemed like they were trying to play on the fact that she was like immature in the
Right,
beginning.
Yes.
But I didn't really see her like as the viewer as being that immature.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
Like I didn't get the impression that like she was a spoiled brat.
I kind of almost
No, I
even
didn't either.
thought more that was another sexist thing, that everyone was seeing her as immature, whereas Nick was the perfect Santa. But those were like bad views of sexist ideologies. You
Maybe.
know? That like she's not even really that immature. She's just a girl. And
Yeah.
you guys aren't respecting her.
Well, and that kind of makes more sense when you put it in those terms, because I told Luis, I was like, I didn't really think she was like being
to Kitty,
anything.
She's just making cards and stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
and
like-
you guys didn't give her anything to do. What is
yeah,
she
like
supposed to do?
her dad literally told her to make Christmas cards. Like
Okay.
she's carrying on like a stupid tradition. Like why?
Right.
Not that it's stupid to make cards, but you know, it's just I didn't think that she was being extra anything.
Right.
I just thought that she was being like a
Mhm.
normal.
Yeah.
She seemed to be like whatever everybody else was there in the North Pole.
Yeah, I agree. I think that maybe that led to her not thinking that she had the confidence to actually be Santa, because it's never in her head that she wants to be Santa. She never
No.
like outwardly says that as a character.
No.
It's just so completely obvious to anyone watching her that she's got all the Santa skills,
Yeah.
and Nick doesn't. So I think maybe some of that immaturity stuff is even her in her own mind going like, I'm not big enough, I'm not grown up enough to be
Yeah.
Santa or
Doing
anything
anything or
doing
whatever.
anything.
Yeah.
Although, you know, when she is younger, she does express that she wants to be doing something important,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So yeah, that's a valid.
Well, and it's interesting too, because that makes me think that maybe like, so it's pretty obvious, I guess, from the beginning that that Nick is
Mhm.
supposed to be Santa,
Right.
right? Like he's chosen, quote unquote, by
Yeah,
like
he gets the hat.
yeah, he gets like passed down from like the current Santa,
Mhm.
but I guess like in the magical way that she just has these abilities and skills, like you would think that was almost like a she was chosen type of thing.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
You know, like that might have changed over time. Like maybe it was Nick, but then he didn't like.
They almost should have given Nick some Santa skills as well, but some stuff that he wouldn't be
Just like-
utilizing. Like he can shimmy down a chimney or whatever, but that's he's using it for yoga.
He was trying
purposes
too
or
hard,
whatever.
but had no success. Just like Tenzin couldn't get to the spirit world, but his daughter could because he wasn't chosen and she was.
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
That is a
Legends of Korra.
Legend of Korra
It's the same thing.
reference. Yeah, I agree.
it's the truth.
I'm just trying to explain for our listeners who don't watch the Legend
Well,
of
they
Korra.
might
you
watch
should.
Legends of
You
Korra.
should.
They
because
should.
It's good.
I didn't watch cartoons until now.
us,
Mhm.
until all of us.
Avatar, dope. Legends of Korra, dope.
She didn't watch cartoons. Disney child.
Well, I mean like
She didn't watch any non-Disney
Nickelodeon
cartoons.
cartoons.
That is for dang sure.
I watched only Disney cartoons.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, I think that might have made the storyline a little bit more compelling for me if there was like, because there obviously was magic in this
Right.
world.
Yeah.
Like if the magic had been more like picky choosy, like
Mhm.
she did something that allowed her to become Santa,
Right,
Because
yeah.
she was, you know,
more adept or
more adept, or because she was seeking out like actually helping people,
Mhm.
because she like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
wanted to help the people at the
she
shelter.
embodies Christmas carefully or
Yeah.
whatever, you know.
That might have made it a little bit more intriguing.
Yeah.
I agree, but I still really
but
liked it.
No, I did too. I did too.
So we don't
It was
really
cute.
have money, but is there a
No.
tomato score?
There is a tomato meter score. So
I liked the choice in music too. That was pretty cute.
It was
like
cute.
I liked the
the score.
Christmas, and the Christmas like choices they did
Oh,
with
like
the
the background music or the soundtrack.
The one thing that was a little too punny for me was
To
all
Oh
of-
My Garland.
well,
was too much
those references
yeah.
were a little much. Like the elders was like, rest ye merry gentlemen. Like,
yeah.
stop.
Everything they say is
Like,
Christmas.
Oh my garland.
yeah.
Garland.
It was a little much, but it was still cute.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the writing was a little rote, but good enough.
It's just a Christmas movie. Like, it was a
At
good
least
Christmas
it stopped
movie.
early on. Like, it
Yeah,
didn't
that's
continue until the end of the movie.
Right, yeah. It
Yeah.
stops in Phoenix for
Yeah.
the most part. So, on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie has a tomato meter score of 53%.
Really?
It's technically rotten. The critics' consensus says,
What makes it, what is rotten? 60?
yeah, I think it's 60 and under. So the critics' consensus says, the always charming Anna Kendrick does her best, but Noelle's progressive take on a timeless tale is unfortunately subdued. The audience score is 57%, so not even that different there. I think I had one more review here. It says from Metacritic. Oh no, from
I can't wait to do that other one now. See what it has.
yeah, from Roger.
You know the one with JTT?
The one that I picked?
yeah,
The one that you picked
Yeah,
that we
well-
finally
you
agreed
could.
to?
Well,
You know how you said something about Muppets Christmas Carol? You could never convince me that my movie that we're doing is bad. That is the best Christmas movie of all time. That's the one I grew up on. It's The Bee's Knees.
The
There's
knees have bees,
bees
and the
knees.
bees have knees.
The bees have needs. Somebody from RogerEbert.com gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, writing that Noelle has more going for it than just being one of the easiest ways for Disney Plus to make a good first impression, and that it has plenty of charm. So, he kind of liked it, but a lot of people.
Was
Put it
Choco
kinda down
a
on the
Disney
list.
Plus original?
Yes,
Yeah.
he
Disney
was.
Plus.
The Disney Plus originals haven't been too bad. They've been okay. Like Lady and the
What
Tramp
other
was
one?
Lady and the Tramp.
Oh,
Yeah.
lady.
I haven't seen I haven't watched Godmothered yet or anything
There
like
was
that. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to it.
Stargirl, there was some other stuff.
I haven't watched too much of the
Artemis
stuff.
Fowl, which we haven't
That
watched.
wasn't Disney Plus original.
You're right. It just got put on Disney
Yeah.
Plus during the pandemic.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go with my rating. I think for a Christmas movie, it was good. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I liked it. It was enjoyable. I would probably revisit it, like if I was in the mood for it. It was pretty cute. Like it was a cute Christmas movie, and I liked some of the more modern takes on it as well. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Yeah.
Luis,
Oh.
what are you gonna give Noelle?
I'd say about a
7.
7.5. Yeah.
And a half. Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. It was funny.
Anything else you'd like to share with our listeners who love you so much?
No.
Do the body challenge.
Yeah,
say
talk it
say
out.
body
Can you
yaddy
say-
yaddy.
Can you body yaddy yaddy?
Just say it.
No yoey.
Emily, what are you gonna give this movie?
I'll say 7.5. It was good. It was cute. It made me giggle. It had feel goods in the right spot, but not too much. It wasn't like corny. It wasn't cheesy, even though it could have been.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's just cute.
I love Anna Kendrick.
And Hader is just kind of like perfect for this role. Like,
yeah,
just humbugging the whole. But he's not even humbugging.
No.
He's just like
He's
he
just
just
like-
chill.
he's just like
I don't
He's like,
wanna-
let's chill. That's him. Mm.
Baby, let's settle down.
Chill.
Shell's singing the soulful R&B
Let's
right now.
chill.
okay.
Come on, you know that song.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna-
but I don't think that's what he's
It's not
saying.
applying to-
No, I just it popped into my head.
I'm gonna give this movie a 7.5 as well. I think
Ooh, a clean sweep.
yes, clean sweep. I think it fits right very well into that. Pretty good, not amazing. I think overall I still would rather watch Elf than this.
I love Elf.
Um,
But I used to hate Elf when it first came out. It took me many years to like that movie
right.
because
But
of Will Ferrell.
this is plenty funny. It's plenty charming.
I think we
and
should watch that next.
Yeah, it's not as crazy, or some Christmas movies they go in real hard with the feel good stuff, like somebody's dying and
Yeah.
the
Like
Christmas
Miracle
wish
on
is to
34th
is to be
Street or whatever that
saved, and
movie
yeah,
is.
Yeah, all
I
that
don't
kind
need
of
none
stuff.
of that.
It's not super heavy-handed. As the review said, it is fairly subdued. But I think that works in its favor.
Next week on the Walt Vault. Emily kind of already gave it away, but
Yeah,
we're
no, I'm
going to
sorry.
watch Emily's Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you didn't give it all away. We're doing 2 Christmas movie things.
Yeah.
We're going to be watching A Muppet Christmas Carol as well as Mickey's Christmas Carol. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So the Mickey's Christmas Carol is only like 25 minutes
And
long.
then we
or
will
something
never
like
do a
that.
Christmas Carol again.
And then we'll be done with Christmas carols.
Because
we've
good
done them
God,
all.
if you didn't listen to the Christmas
Last
Carol
year.
Oh, the Jim
episode
Carrey
last
one.
year where we were like, what more do you ever have to say about a Christmas Carol?
Yeah.
That was the most depressing Christmas Carol movie, and that's why we decided we had to do the Muppets one this year, though. Remember? We were like,
Yeah,
we
it's-
need a good one.
It's like the kickback, like,
Yeah. Yeah. So
And the Mickey one is very short and sweet, so we're just going to do it, too. That's the Christmas Carol I grew up on. You grew up on Muppets. Andre, what Christmas Carol did you grow up on?
you best say Muppets.
I guess Muppets, but I'm trying to think.
Maybe you didn't grow up on one?
Well, I mean,
Maybe
I
like with that old Ebenezer Scrooge guy.
yeah, like maybe it was.
I can't remember who that was, but
Mhm.
like I know the face in my head.
I'm trying to think. Is there like another animated one from
There's so many.
the 90s or something like that? I don't remember.
Probably.
It wasn't like a huge staple in my upbringing as the Christmas.
Did you ever
carols.
see Scrooged? Is that what that movie's called with Bill?
With Bill
Murray?
Murray. I actually have never seen that movie, but I love Bill Murray.
I remember watching it with my dad.
I like A Christmas
being
I think
Carol.
my OG Christmas... Is that older?
Oh yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that the one where
It's
he's
like
like
80s.
a businessman or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
well, that's a dumb thing to say. 'cause
Scrooge is
a
always a
businessman.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Christmas movies I grew up on were the old Rudolph movies, like the
Yes.
old ones.
Yeah.
The claymation one.
Yes.
I watched
Dope.
those too.
Love those movies.
Mhm.
Those ones, the Grinch, like the 2000
Jim
Grinch,
Carrey Grinch.
Jim Carrey Grinch, and my movie
love
that
it.
we're gonna do in a couple weeks, so I won't say it.
That's right.
They know what it is. You've been talking about it for freaking.
I'll be home for
65 years.
Christmas. I've been wanting to do this for years. This is the best movie ever.
And
Best Christmas movie.
someone,
When Andre,
someone finally said, "You know what, Michelle? I'll concede. You can watch it this year."
when
Was that
Andre
me?
and I,
That was me.
it was
Oh,
Emily. But
okay.
when Andre and I first moved in
And
together,
if it sucks, it was Andre.
whatever. Our very first Christmas that we spent together, like when we had moved in together, I made Andre watch. I was like, "You're watching.
Yeah,
I'll
so
be home
I've
for
already
Christmas."
seen this
And he was
movie.
like, "Why?" And I was like, "You're watching it because that's what I do every Christmas. I watch this movie." And he did.
You
Watch
should
it
see the
with me.
look on his face right now. He is not happy about having
Because
to
she ain't
watch
watched none of my Christmas movies. We haven't watched A Christmas Story. We haven't watched.
No, I did watch Home Alone last year. You made me.
Oh, that's right. We did watch.
I
Home
watched
Alone.
I
all
still
of
have
them.
never seen it.
Yeah, Home Alone's
Except
good.
for the new.
We watched 1 and 2.
one and
The
two.
only ones you need to see.
I was like, "Don't say that." I did. And you made me watch the Penguin Batman Christmas movie.
Batman Returns.
Batman,
Da-na-na-na-na.
Trying to put it on me. I watch his movies.
Yeah, you do watch a lot of my movies.
She didn't
yes.
even know what Star Wars was before you.
Yeah,
That's true.
good.
I remember, wow, this still
Ooh,
sits
we
with
haven't
me
watched the
because
holiday special.
it made me upset. It was really mean. But when I met Andre, I watched all the Star Wars movie, and like anything I watch for the first time, I get obsessed with it. Same thing happened with Harry Potter. Same thing happened with Lord of the Rings. Like, I'm a nerd. It's how it goes, right?
How
And
it
so then
goes.
the new Star Wars movie came out. We saw it together, and then I went to Disneyland, and I bought a Star Wars Dooney and Burke purse. And then I went to work, and then at work that day, this girl was like, "Do you even watch Star Wars?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "You never used to like it." Because I had like the Dooney and
Yeah.
Burke purse, and I was like, "Well, I like it now." And I don't know why, but that comment will still stick with me when people, like, whenever you're like, "You didn't know what Star Wars was before Andre," I'm like, "I know." But it's only because that lady said that to me that it,
Well,
like, sticks with me.
Stuck
I'm
in your
like,
craw.
"Why you hating on my purse? You just jealous I got this?" Like, blang, blang. It's cute.
You should just seen the little shoulder she gave me. Blang, blang.
Blang, blang.
I'm like, "Well, you know what? I didn't, and
She
I really wanted
practically
to.
blapped me. Okay.
I really wanted to be like, "You don't know you like anything until you watch it."
Right.
So
It's never too early
Are you
to become
mad
a
that I
fan of
like
anything.
Star Wars now?
That's how I was
Calm
with
down.
Doctor Who for sure. Like I was like, why are all these theater nerdies out here like all up into this? And then I watched it and was like, that's why.
That's what it is.
That's
I thought
why.
it was weird that you guys like Mary Angela, our listener, Mary Angela has been trying to get me to watch the Avatar or just
Years.
Avatar, The Last Airbender, the TV show forever. She like legit brought the DVDs over to our house one day, and I was like, "No, I don't watch cartoons. Like I don't do cartoons.
I don't do that.
I don't. I don't
I'm
watch
an adult.
I
With
don't
a Disney podcast.
whatever.
I don't watch cartoons.
You know what I mean? Like those
No,
kind of
but
cartoons.
that was fantastic. I think
Whatever.
that should be the opening to our podcast.
Oh my god.
I'm an adult.
I don't watch cartoons. Just Disney cartoons.
But now you're hip to.
But it's
that.
literally the best cartoon I've ever seen. So
Ever.
that's the thing is
It's
like
good.
you don't know you like something until you like it, and then you like it.
Right.
So
you
guess
try
what?
stuff.
I'll buy a Star Wars purse if I want. Mic drop.
Dude, I
drop
need you to
indeed.
like tag this girl when that
No,
episode comes out
I'll
for
tell
your
you who
birthday.
Yeah, I'll
who
send
she
it
is, 'cause
directly
she
to
was
her.
one of our sorority sisters, so I'll tell you who she was.
Oh, let's clip it out.
She was one of our sorority
She's
sisters.
been excommunicated. Is
From
that what,
Michelle,
is that what
yeah.
happens in the societies of the the
Yeah.
sorority societies?
Well, yeah, Emily will not talk to
Oh,
you if
that's
you
right.
leave. I'm
Yeah.
not the nicest.
I'm not allowed.
Dang, Michelle, you can't be saying stuff like that off the mic. She literally goes, "Yeah, you not the nicest."
Anyway, you guys.
That is how it is, though, huh, Lou? Like if someone leaves, you like, bye.
Yeah, they're not in the club anymore.
Yeah, Luis just said yeah off mic, but he was in a fraternity. It's the same thing. Like, you don't be coming up in here taking the pledges and then like leaving.
And then just dipping out when you
Yeah.
run out of money to pay these dues.
Yeah, that's their own fault.
You should have came here with a plan, dog.
Yeah.
Should have started budgeting.
Go rob a bank or something.
both-
Like, come on.
Both of my roommates left their fraternities before college even ended. You know, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well.
You know, they said peace.
Luis lived in a garage and did it, okay?
Dang, garage living. It's hot in them garages.
It's cold in them garages.
Okay, you guys, that has been it this week for the Walt Vault. We will see you next week for some Muppet and Christmas Carol-y goodness. In the meantime, if you want to keep up with us, you can head to our social media. We are at the Walt Vault Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Instagram's the hot one. Go
And we
there.
do want to say thank you to all of our listeners who continue to tag us in their content. We love to see your Spotify, what do you call those?
the playlist
Wrap-ups
Oh
or
yeah, that
whatever.
thing is cool. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And there was some fierce discussion going on in our comment section about
Was there?
the
About Chicken Little.
That's right. About chicken nuggets. So shout
Yeah,
out to
that-
all of you.
There was some fierce discussion.
Hanging out in
man.
there.
That was
Yeah.
interesting.
We had some people up in there like, you be lying. And we like,
Were
We
we
don't lie on
though?
this podcast. We're
Can
brutally
you-
honest.
can you lie if you're being honest
Yeah.
though? Because I'm pretty sure this is opinionated.
It's
I
not
mean,
a
after
lie,
all,
it's
it's our
true.
opinions. You don't
Just
like
our
it, bye.
personal
That's right.
opinions.
But speaking of
Everybody
opinions, you
got their
guys,
own.
I saw a couple people say that like we should continue on with our explicit episodes.
Yeah, apparently
So,
explicit's where it's at. We might have to do that like once a month or something.
yeah. So
But that means we have to intentionally seek out bad stuff because I
Well-
cannot be out here like bleeping about.
Yeah,
Muppets
there's some
Christmas
things that,
Carol.
like we said, like on Cinderella, like what am I gonna say?
Yeah,
yeah, I
Like
mean,
it doesn't make sense.
We
Yeah.
we can
Yeah,
do this.
it
normally.
might mean it has to be some bad content, but I mean, seems like you guys
So,
love some bad
If
content.
you guys are
there.
super into that, just continue to let us know. And if you're super against that, let us know as well.
yeah.
And we
Mhm.
might ignore you. But no, for real, we'll we will take those into
We
consideration.
like to know what you guys
Because
like.
Yeah.
and
we
don't
started
like.
out this podcast as a family friendly for a
But
reason.
I also think we did that because we're absolutely ridiculous and didn't think people could handle us too.
at our worst.
if we started off that crazy, they would have been like, "Whoa."
Well, and let's be real. That's kind of where the crack in the vault came from in the first place.
Right.
Was that there are things in a lot of
That we
especially
wanted
the
to talk
older
about.
Disney movies that we want to talk about, but either get racy or
That's why we've
like-
avoided some movies. Yeah.
yeah, or just
like
t-
racially insensitive
Yeah,
or just
and-
not good for the time.
topically, we don't necessarily want to cover those in the main episode.
For
Not that we
show.
don't want to talk about it. It's just that a lot of it can get. I can't even think of the word.
Spicy.
Spicy.
It
Well,
gets
I was gonna say
spicy out
like it makes my skin crawl, but
Yeah.
I mean that too. I guess that's could be spicy.
There's some
Spicy.
awkward things in Disney's past. So
Don't ever do that again.
so
oh
anyway,
my god.
yes, continue to please let us know what
And
you
no,
think.
we will not be watching Song of the South. So
No,
don't
it's
request
canceled.
it.
We're never doing it.
Mostly because it's difficult to find.
Can't find it. Well, one of our listeners said she would mail it to us.
Okay.
She got it on VHS.
She
I don't
got
know
it.
what I'm gonna do
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
I don't have one of those either. Okay, I got no VCR in here.
It's canceled.
Another thing I wanted to mention is that Mulan, the live-action Mulan, is now free on Disney Plus, so you can go check that out if you didn't pay the $30 for the past several months.
And if you've been mad like Luis, you can now watch it
You
for
can,
free.
you can watch it for
He said
free
maybe.
on the Plus. We covered that on episode 116 of TWV. on the Walt Vault.
TWV.
So you can go check that out if you hadn't already. Okay, you guys, that has been it for this week. Visit our Patreon, visit our merch store, do all the things that help us out. Leave us a review. We appreciate you. We love you. The vault is now closed.